Alright, the first desk design idea we're going to look at is a desk that is built into a dresser. Now with this, the second topmost drawer folds down and becomes a little desk. And you can see they've included some support on the interior of the desk to make it into a real shelf. Now what I would do is I would use the top two drawers together to make one longer shelf, because that shelf is looking a little wimpy. So basically you create a faux drawer pull just like you did with the first one, but you combine them all together and then fold them down and have a nice, large enough flat surface. If you didn't want to do that, however, you could add a second folding mechanism to the back of the first drawer front, and have it double fold out. That would work okay, but it might be a little rickety. Just add some hinges in between and there you go. I do like what they've done by adding a hole into the back, but I don't think I would feed all my power cords through there. Instead, I would feed a power strip through there, and then you'd have all the power right at your fingertips. Power strips are really easy to mount. On the back, they have holes that are larger in one portion and smaller in another. That way, you can put screws into the back wall of the dresser, and then slide the power strip over the screws and push them to lock them into place into the smaller section of the hole. It's really easy to make a template for the back of the power strip by photocopying it, and then just using that to place your screws. If you don't have a photocopier handy, you could just lay a piece of paper on the back and rub a crayon on it. That will give you the pattern. Screws are one way to do it, but I generally like to attach it with zip ties. So you would just put 2 holes in each side of the back and thread some zip ties through it. If you didn't feel that the shelf was strong enough, you could add some chains. Make these decorative though, because you'll see them when it's open. And speaking of decoration, if you paint a thing like this gray or brown or black or any boring color, please add an accent color or pattern to the back of the drawer. There's no reason to leave it plain. Now this setup works well for a laptop, but you could also use a PC. I would suggest putting the PC in the bottom. Make sure to leave space for air. You can't just leave space in the drawer, it has to come from somewhere. So you can create an air intake on the bottom and an outlet on the back. This way it has plenty of airflow, and you can put a dust filter on the bottom, which is out of sight, but easy to get to when you need to change it. You might have to add a computer fan to the drawer to make it work. You could deck this dresser out for all your electronics needs. In one of the drawers, put your router. Just make sure any electronic devices have cooling. And if you put a bunch of holes in the back, you might want to support it with some vertical boards. You could also apply this idea to an armoire. This is another gray, boring piece of furniture. Make sure you dress up that pegboard. And in fact, pegboard might be a good solution for the back of our previous dresser. It would allow air and be fairly rigid. This armoire features a sliding desktop. If that's not big enough for you, you could combine both doors at the top into one large desktop and fold it down. Or you could do the same for the bottom and fold them up. Just find a way to support it. I like the inclusion of light in this armoire. You could do it with a lamp, that's stylish. Or if you wanted more space, you could install some LED lights in the top and maybe even shining down on the desktop. This armoire already has a ton of great ideas, like the pin board, the chalkboard, and the pegboard where you can hang anything you want, like your collection of murderous knives. The pegboard is modular, so you can create any sort of shelf you need with just a wire. This desk is a little different because it looks like an end table. This image was featured on the website West End, where they were selling the lamp. I'm not sure if they sell the desk, but I'm sure you can find a similar table somewhere, or build your own. The key to this desk is making it a little bit longer than a normal end table. Make sure it doesn't stick out so people trip over it, but also make it long enough to do some work on. Next to this table, you're going to want to set up a chair that swivels. That way it can be part of your living room when you're not using it as a desk, but it can turn and face a desk when it's time to get to work. It has a drawer for your knife collection, and this slot in the back, which I assume is on both sides, and you could use for storage, or you could install a power strip like before. Put it towards the center and have a single wire coming down. You could even plug your lamp into it. If you do install a power strip, maybe include a few USB chargers for guests. One of the most important features of this desk is that it has space for your golden frog. Nice. Set your laptop down and get to work. This desk is similar to the dresser and the armoire, except it folds up. Just be careful if you use this design, not to slam the top of the desk down onto your laptop and destroy it. The top of this desk has some sort of pinboard elastic organization system, but you can put anything you want up there. Include a monitor for your computer. Make it even longer and install two, turning it into a command center. That way you can always monitor your corn stock prices. You don't have to make it longer, necessarily. Add a hinge for the second monitor and fold it in. Just make sure it latches, or opening it will be a catastrophe. Now that I think about it, there's plenty of room for monitors in the armoire desk. Homemade Modern made a similar version of the flip-up desk using strips of plywood. It's very simple to make. All you have to do is screw the plywood pieces together from the bottom so that you don't see the screws, and the top surface is nice and flat. This desk includes a lot of the features we've been talking about. There's a power strip, chalkboard, mirror. Basically, this desk is money. Money that's sweating. Sweating because it's on fire. What I'm saying is, this is a nice desk. This is one of my favorite concepts for a desk. These people took an old piano and turned it into a work of art. You can see they've included the monitor in the middle, and these decorative panels on the sides. You could put speakers back there, although it looks like this desk has the speakers across the bottom. Who knows what's in there? Maybe it's their booze collection. Now there's plenty of space in the back. You can include your computer. It will be very simple to use the hollowed out space. If you install your PC in the rear like that, you're going to want to include a USB hub. Now I don't know why they got rid of the pedals. That seems like it would be a cool feature. I can only assume that they removed them to add better pedals for their racing wheel setup. Now I'm not sure if I understand the scale here correctly. It looks like that monitor might be a tad too high, but I'm not sure how big that chair is. If you sit up straight it might be fine, but if you're a sloucher like me, it might hurt your neck. If you're looking for a more simple desk design, just grab two file cabinets and stretch a board, door, or countertop across the top. Of course, you're still going to need power, and probably power from more than one device, so I suggest attaching a power strip to the underside of the desk. Don't use the screw or zip tie method before. Get a wire rack that's typically used in closets, and attach it to the other side so you can stow away all your cords nice and neatly, but they'll still be within reach when you need them. Of course, you wouldn't be able to see this wire rack from the front. It would be much further back, so just imagine you're seeing through the desktop. I approve of this globe, but there's a lot of other nonsense on this desk that might make it too cluttered. It looks nice, but would you be able to use this desk? I don't know. Anyway, the important thing to remember is that this desk is very simple to make. It's just file cabinets and a top. You could expand on the concept to be much more fancy. Look at these. This is the appearance of a built-in, but it's the same concept as before. Several file cabinets and tops. I don't know what this small file cabinet is doing here. Maybe it's for making it easy to jump out the window? On second thought, it's probably a spot for your dog or cat, so that they're in perfect petting range while you work. A similar concept would be taking two bookshelves and connecting them to make a desk. This one has plenty of storage that is accessible from either side. And the other bookcase is accessible if you crawl on the floor. I guess it's just for snakes. You could also build a trestle style desk. This one seems like it's permanently attached, but I would make it so that the center support could come out when you're moving. Then everything would pack nice and flatly. I really like this design here, which uses sawhorses. You could use regular sawhorses, but these particular ones can be raised and lowered. It's probably a pain to raise and lower them, but what if you changed these boards to have teeth and then added a gear? You could raise and lower it easily. Of course, you'd have to raise and lower both sides evenly. maybe attach a string between them. I don't know, this is getting complicated. A simpler desk will be just taking 2 stools and attaching them with a countertop across. Remember, a desk is just a board between 2 things. Thanks for watching.